Hopefully, it didn't break anything this time. Good
No,
evening. Good
said
morning.
we were live.
Good afternoon. I don't know what day it is. I
It
don't know
looks
what
like it's
time it is.
morning time at my house, midday at Sam's, and night at yours.
Midnight time at me.
We cover the full spectrum.
That's right.
That's true. It does kind of look that way. It does. So, and the sad thing is, we're all in the same time zone.
Couple
Really,
miles
we're
apart, no
Same
less.
standard time.
really we're within like this. Yeah, the same side of town. Just,
Three
So-
different towns, though.
It's true.
I guess
So-
technically you're correct.
Yeah.
You are, aren't you?
Mhm.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. It's episode 180 of Gather the Nerds. I'm Cav. That's Nick.
What's up, guys?
Sam is also here.
Hello.
Beware the
Random
flirkin.
flirkins will appear behind him.
Yes. A wild flirkin has appeared.
He's scared. He's scared.
Be very afraid. So we've got some stuff to talk about this week. Not a ton of like individual news, but the news that did drop was some big things. So a handful of big things. And
Which
then we
was
added
nice.
some other random things in there as well, in terms of past articles that we have not gotten to yet that we have been unable to, that I find amusing. So where do you want to start, Nick? DC? You want to get into Marvel stuff? I mean, we just had May the 4th, which is like your holiday.
Super important. It was like the 5th and the 6th, too. Don't forget those days.
So is it Revenge of the 5th and what's the 6th then?
Return of the 6th.
Return of the 6th.
Yeah.
Nice.
The funniest thing I saw, though, was on the 5th. I saw it a couple of times as a meme, and it was stormtroopers, and it says, Happy May the 4th, and it was like, it's May the 5th, and he's like, dang it, I missed it.
That was amazing.
That's awesome. That's
Classic.
amazing. Hang on, let me add a little bit of color there. There we go.
Yeah. Josh, I almost did change my name this weekend to Cav the Conqueror. I almost did. Got my Conqueror title in Destiny 2. Thanks
Congratulations.
to some
Congratulations. Well, I
some
think
runs that were, I sat there and I shot a few things and, threw a few banners up and stuff like that. But most of the work was done by other people. So
that's okay. It works.
it's true.
I think we need to start at May the 4th, primarily because Disney created a real lightsaber.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Like I watched the video, and then I rewatched the video, and then I rewatched it, and I'm like, when is it going to be for sale? Because what kid doesn't want an actual lightsaber that lights up, that extends and retracts when you turn it off without having to like shove your hand down or screw a light bulb in and turn it? You know what I mean? Like, who doesn't want that? And how many bajillion dollars is it going to cost?
I'm an adult and I want that.
Right, exactly. So we're going to Disney
We will all have
in about a month. Next month, actually, at this point, we're going to Disney. So I will be owning an owner of a Disney lightsaber, but unfortunately, I doubt it will be the one that retracts and extends via a button.
You driving or flying?
We're flying. Florida.
Lightsaber?
How do you get a lightsaber home?
Apparently, they come in a bag. Apparently, I don't know.
But it's too big for a carry-on.
I don't know. It's in the TSA rule book. You can bring it on.
That's amazing.
We had to look it up because
Disney got an exception just for.
Yeah, well, it's like,
Jack.
if unfortunately, as cool as they are, they're not real weapons. So you can, I don't know. I have a real big fear about we're gonna have, because Harper's getting one too. We're gonna have 2 lightsabers and not be able to fly with them, which means then we'll have to mail them.
Ship them.
You know, yeah. So I'm not sure. I need to do a little more research, but it is in the TSA rule book or whatever that's called. But people fly with them all the time, apparently.
That's amazing.
It's important
Yeah.
that they make the distinction because you do need to have it written down, but you still also have to be careful because just because it's allowed doesn't mean they're going to treat it well.
Exactly. Exactly.
We brought back a couple of things from Disney last time we went, and the thing that kind of surprised us the most was they wouldn't let us carry on a cake from the Harry Potter part of the theme park. It was in a cauldron, and the TSA agent, they wouldn't let us take it on the plane, so we had to check it somehow. And they just kept like throwing the box around, like juggling with it, kind of, and it was just trashed by the time we got it home.
Ugh, that stinks.
So
Yeah,
I'm sure
I
the
asked
lightsaber
somebody,
won't have the same issue, but
well, I asked somebody that goes to this Disney often, and I said, "How do people handle the lightsabers?" And she said, "You just see them carrying them in a bag through the airport." So apparently, it's not as big of a deal. I don't know if because the bulb unscrews. Maybe I don't know.
maybe.
I mean, do planes still have coat check closets like the where they have the hang up area?
I have no idea. I don't fly that often.
Because it's not going to fit under a seat.
No, and we're flying
Overhead?
We're flying American, so stuff has to go overhead anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I need to do a little more research on it.
You going Florida or California?
Florida.
Sweet.
Yep. So we'll be there for 8 days doing all the Disney stuff. So,
nice.
But if you go to Disney World in 2022, you will be able to be a part of the Galactic Star Cruiser, which I believe is part of their hotel, as well as potentially a ride, I believe, or an activity of some kind.
Everything is both.
Right. Well, they're opening up a Star Wars hotel as well, in which all of your choices from the moment you walk in affect your experience.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure how they're going to do that, but that sounds pretty amazing.
Sounds a little like Minority Report. Like,
right?
Like, put this tracker on. It's completely safe. I promise.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, what happens whenever the somebody walks in with a sick mind and goes, "Kill younglings." Like, what happens? Do you
they
just
get escorted off the property?
Right? Yeah.
They give him 3 trilogies.
There you go.
They hand him a lightsaber. Like, here you go. This is where the children who misbehave go.
Right. I love the line in the article that says Disney didn't actually create a laser sword that's capable of cutting off your son's hand because he refuses to join you ruling the galaxy. Like, I love the line. Totally unnecessary, but awesome. But either way, if you haven't seen the video, it was on CNN. It's probably still there, but there's an actress that's dressed as Rey, and she's standing there holding the hilt, turns it on, it extends, and it drops back down when she turns it off. It is not a camera trick. Somehow they have absolutely created a lightsaber that works that way.
I don't know if this is it, but I saw an article a little while back about them filing a patent for something like this, and essentially it was kind of like the opposite of a slap bracelet. It kind of, it is all rolled up and then it extends out.
Bracelet?
Yes, that's what it was. And so some sort of motorized mechanism just extends it out and it stays together in a point. But yeah, how they actually came up with the idea and how it works in real time and how they get the light to look right is...
Yeah, how do you get the lighting to be consistent?
Because that's the tricky part on something like that. Yeah.
The only
I'm sure they have very intelligent people that can create something like that. Obviously,
it's got LCD film inside the thing. Like,
could be.
I mean, it would be like $1,000 lightsaber, but
and I mean, we haven't price yet.
The rate
it is
which
Disney
it extends is realistic. Like, it's the timing of the blade extending and turning on. Like, it's all perfect. So how they manage that, I don't know, but it's sorry. Forgot you could hear that. Yeah, that's amazing. I kind of wonder if there's some like if it's what you're talking about, Sam, where it's a some sort of a slap bracelet type of a thing where they've put electricity through it to where that's what causes it to extend. I don't know.
Tara Kerr says she likes turtles.
She does. She
I'm
likes
also
turtles.
a fan.
Yeah, turtles are pretty cool.
I prefer turtles of the ninja variety.
For sure.
Pizza consuming turtles.
Pizza consuming, yeah.
Do you guys ever find it odd that they really like
driving.
pizza and their main enemy is the shredder? And you have to shred cheese for pizza?
Oh,
a giant misunderstanding the entire time.
Clearly.
He's like, I was
he really
shred,
just worked at Domino's and he was mad because they kept stealing the pizza.
He's like, I was just here to shred cheese, and then you guys ate all my pizza, so I turned into a supervillain. This is their fault.
Exactly. Thanks, Tara Kerr. I'm pretty sure that's Josh, but
yeah, that's probably Josh there. If I had to guess.
The other big news.
Don't
is
forget,
Bad Batch.
Sorry, don't forget. But while you're at the park, Google this. they're in the Millennium Falcon ride. There is a certain key combination that you can do. Like, you have to coordinate it with the people like that you're on the ride with, and it's completely random. It's randomized when you go in. Like, they just basically you pick up a thing, a color is how it was when I was there, and then they get to that, and then off you go. You're like, I need all the colors of whatever, like orange 3, green 3, blah blah blah, whatever. You go in there. There's a different experience, something Chewbacca related, that all of the audio is Chewbacca instead of everybody else, something like that, on the Millennium Falcon ride. Google it, because somebody figured it out, and so that way you should coordinate your people in there and see if you can make that happen.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay, I
That
will.
sounds great.
Something else to note from May the 4th is the fact that Disney dropped 2 new items that are Star Wars related, and in Family Guy, Blue Moon, Harvest, all that stuff related, there is a new Simpsons Star Wars show, and it is called, and I quote, Maggie Simpson in The Force Awakens from its nap. Now, I have not been able to watch this yet, but I think it looks absolutely hilarious. It is very much The Force Awakens / all the other Star Wars type things melded together. The Death Star has 3 holes in it, kind of like a bowling ball. So, there's that. It's got a BB-8, and then there is a Darth Maul. I think that might be Mo. I don't know for sure.
It does kind of look that way.
Yeah, I don't know for sure. But it's got young Padawans, Sith Lords, familiar droids, rebel scum, and an ultimate battle against Darkseid in its original short celebration of the Star Wars galaxy. So
It is It is very short. Don't expect to sit there for an hour.
Is it 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Oh, I want to say it's like 5 or 10. It
Oh, wow.
It was not
Okay.
long.
Okay, I can live with that. And in other news, I kind of thought it was a hoax. I said on this show that they were releasing the original Clone Wars on Disney Plus, and then I couldn't find it. And I thought, well, dadgummit, that was April 1st or 2nd when I said that. It's there now. So if you want to see the original, and their shorts as well, probably 5-minute, 10-minute episodes max. If you want to see the original Clone Wars series that kind of started people wanting more, it's there.
Okay.
It was from Comedy Central or Cartoon Network. I was in college when I watched it, and I was hooked instantly. I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So, and then the Bad Batch. So if you watched the Clone Wars, the newer Clone Wars series last season, you came across these clones that are called the Bad Batch. They are clones that had nothing to do with Order 66, or so you thought. And they are very different in regard to the regular clones. They are not the standard follow all orders. And they are amazing. We watched probably 20 minutes of it this morning, and then I had to run some errands before the soccer game. But the first episode's an hour long.
It's so good.
And it looked good so far.
Mhm.
The thing that I liked is it took me a second because one of the new characters in the Bad Batch was a character in episode 8. And so, or season 8 of Clone Wars. And his name's Echo. And there's a story behind him and why he is now with the Bad Batch versus why, his origin was in the last season of Clone Wars. But amazing, super cool. You really, most of the time with some Star Wars stuff, if you're a casual fan, a lot of people struggle with where does it fit in the timeline. They make it very clear where it fits in the timeline within probably the first 10 minutes of the show. And that makes it totally worth it at that point for me. And then if you think about it from the standpoint of bringing people in, if they've watched all the movies, they know what Order 66 is. If they've watched Mandalorian and all that, I mean, they should know some degree of it. But I agree. Josh is correct. Clone Wars is the best storytelling in the Star Wars universe, with the exception of the original trilogy. But in terms of long form story that kept you involved, absolutely, I agree.
I'm just here for the holiday specials. That's really about it.
So there is, speaking of that, there's something on Disney Plus that's there as well too. Like there are a lot of Ewoks things that are on there. I don't believe there's a holiday special, but I saw an article. I wasn't sure what it was about necessarily, but it seemed as though they were potentially playing with that idea again, by the way.
Well, aren't they doing a Lego holiday special?
Yes,
They did last year,
They
yeah.
did one last year,
Okay.
and it was hilarious.
It was.
It was good. I mean, because it's Lego and they can have a little bit of fun with it. It's not like the traditional Star Wars.
Yeah.
They were really able to do really well and make a really good. Harper and I watched it probably 3 or 4 times, to the point that she was singing a Christmas song, and Huttese is what she thought, at least. So it was just like what was it, Merry Christmas or something like that.
Nice. Now, did you get any merch? Any good merch on May the 4th? Anything drop? Anything crazy? Anything?
I
helmets?
was so busy with work, I didn't get anything done at all. Life and work right now are just bananas. So no, about 9:00 May the 4th evening, I looked at Joni and I go, I didn't go to the Disney store. When you go, so every May the 4th, if there's a Disney store in your area, if you go and purchase an item, there's no dollar amount. I think it's just a item. There's usually a May the 4th pin for that year. And I've gotten maybe 2 of them when I remember to go. One year that I went, it was because they had released a all metal prototype Boba Fett, and I was like, I've got to go get it. And I ran and got my pin. But I mean, by the time I got home, May the 4th, I was done. I was toast. It was a day. So then, like I said, it clicked, and I was like, well, oh well. I think did they drop a lot of games? Whoops. I don't need to call the police. Hang on, stop calling. Did they
there were a bunch of sales, all the big stores always say, hey, it's May the 4th, buy all the Star Wars games, and so that's always a thing, but nothing new, I don't think, came out this year.
Yeah. It's very possible I may have missed something. This is probably the least prepared for May the 4th I've been in a while, which is sad.
A rough one. Yeah. A lot going on.
Yeah. For sure.
But Bad Batch was amazing. I just want to go ahead and jump back to that real quick.
Did you watch both episodes?
I didn't know there were 2 episodes. I've only watched 1.
Yeah, there are 2.
There's an hour long.
2 out now. Because I thought there was only 1 as well. And then I saw the second one, but like I said, I've only watched a very little bit of it.
I loved the beginning. They've got the same narrator. They come in with the Clone Wars logo, and then they blow it up, and it's got Bad Batch behind it.
Yeah.
And just somebody was asking if you need to have seen Clone Wars to appreciate Bad Batch, and you're right. Echo is a really interesting character, and that was a really great arc going from the old series into the new. But I don't really think you need that backstory. I mean, again, you should have it because it's amazing, but you don't have to have it to recognize the story they're trying to tell and the group they're trying to highlight.
I agree. I don't know that it's a prerequisite by any means. Perhaps if you wanted to, you could watch the last season of Clone Wars and be fairly up to date on everything at that point. And there's not very many episodes in the last season, so that makes it a little bit of a lower barrier of entry. But I definitely don't think you can, because they kind of tell you everything at the very beginning. Like, you don't necessarily have to know anything about them because you're following them after Order 66. So it's, I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Can I make a complaint?
Yeah, go for it.
Whoever's in charge of casting needs to reconsider the voice behind that first Padawan you meet. The kid looks like he's 10, but sounds like he's 42.
Yeah. Good point. I didn't pay that much attention to it, but yeah, good point.
If I had anything to complain about, that would be it. But no,
that's
wait a
it.
minute.
That's the complaint. Fair enough.
It's possible that, he may be some sort of force projection, or we'll find out later on. There was something else going on.
What would
his
be
force
really
power
cool
stems from his vocal cords.
What would be really cool is if I know it's not going to be that way because I've played the video game, but it would be cool if it tied into the newest Star Wars game with where he's, I can't even think of the guy's name now. Cal, I think, is the Jedi's name.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
It would be really cool if it tied into that. I don't know that it will, but it would be really pretty cool. Yeah.
I think we're in a unique position where they might actually start to hint at that sort of thing. They've grown the universe enough that they could potentially. Cynical me says no, but I'd really like to see it.
Yeah. Well, the game was really good. The story for the game was really good. So it would be cool if they could tie that into a series, at some point.
That'd be great. And then bring him back for, actual either more games or more more series, more shows.
I was gonna say, also too, like he is like his model is based on the voice actor in real life who played Jerome on Gotham.
Yeah.
Cameron Monaghan. And so you could conceivably bring him in live action, although I'll never probably see him as anything other than Jerome, but you could bring him in there as that in something live action at some point. I mean, that would be pretty wild. That might be the first time that something like that would happen. Like there's a video game character based on a real person and you're going to take them into the real world.
If anybody can do it.
The thing about Star Wars is like it's not like Mortal Kombat, where Mortal Kombat is like this very distinct game. Like the aspects of the game are very unique to that game. Translating that to live action is difficult. Only from the standpoint of you got to have the story to go along with it. It's not just fighting
the story is what was missing from the new one.
Exactly. I'm really glad I did not pay in a theater to go watch that. But Star Wars, the universe of Star Wars matches up to a video game a lot easier, I think, because the video games reflect the universe and vice versa. So they do a really good job with that. But what would be really cool is if we were to get an Ahsoka spinoff and you see Cal or you see something else, because I think at some point that's got to be where they're going. You don't bring in an actress like Rosario Dawson for one show that's not even about her. And just that's it. Like you just don't do that. I don't know.
I mean, you've got to think about the same thing with Katie Sackhoff and Bo-Katan. Like,
right, exactly.
I mean, they're setting up potential things depending on. I mean, there was never any doubt that Ahsoka was going to get the response that Ahsoka got.
I don't think they were ready for Bo-Katan though.
I don't think they were either.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, again, unless you watch a lot of the Star Wars, like Clone Wars, you don't know who Bo-Katan is because she's never mentioned in any of the movies.
Yeah,
right.
So now, I mean, even with just the little glimpses that you get of Bo-Katan in Mandalorian, and you have a basic sense of her story, and she runs around with those people or whatever. Like, it could just be a funny heist, like not necessarily funny, but it could just be like a heist show, like for
yeah.
Like, them just going, I mean, you don't want to call it like Monster of the Week, but, something along those lines, with an overarching story. Of course, it sounds like, obviously I think we're going to see a lot more Bo-Katan in season 3 of Mandalorian just based off the Darksaber and all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to have to play a part for sure. And obviously I think Ahsoka plays a part in that as well. I just think you've got really awesome characters that there are a lot of they're a fan favorite because of their stories, and with Sabine Wren in Rebels, kind of tying into a higher class family name as well within the Mandalorian culture. Like I just think there's a lot of potential there to transition that from cartoon to live action, and the success of Bo-Katan and the success of Ahsoka, I think, tell you, hey, that's super easy to do. To me, it's easier to go from movie to cartoon. It's not always easier to go from cartoon to movie. And I think they did it really well.
Yeah, for sure.
It helps that they had at least one of the people that voiced the character play the character.
Yeah.
That helped a lot.
Yep. Let's see. What else happened this week? So let's talk about that Marvel trailer.
Let's talk about it. It's got all the feels.
I wasn't prepared.
I was not either.
I think it's cool. I think it was kind of a cool, like, hey, like, we're coming back. Like, the movies are coming. You haven't had anything really for the most part. You've had, Captain America, Winter Soldier, and WandaVision and stuff like that. But like the Marvel movies that you go to and been waiting on, like, we're coming back. And here's like the story of the Marvel movies, and here's where we're going and what we're doing. We're only a couple months away from Widow, I think.
Mhm.
Is Widow in July now? I don't even know where it ended
I
up.
just saw the date. Hold tight.
I was gonna say I should have written those all down.
No, I've
You
got it
just have
pulled
to
up.
change it the next week.
It changed from May 7th to July 9th.
Okay.
So it's next month.
So
Basically, every other month we got something new coming.
Almost a month from today. It'll be a month from tomorrow.
a month. You say June or July?
Oh, July. So 2 months.
2 months.
I don't know my months, man. It's
So
okay.
yeah, you've got Widow, you've got
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings. You know,
The
you've got
Eternals.
Eternals.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, is Spider-Man 2021?
Yep.
Spider-Man was
I think it was-
2022.
According to this article, it
Late in
says
the year.
December 17th, 2021.
Yeah.
Really?
It's sooner than the original than the date in the original teaser. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You got Shang-Chi, Eternals, Hawkeye.
This is
Ms.
per
Marvel,
AV Club. If
Spider-Man
it's
3.
wrong, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Games Radar is
We are
saying the
sourcing
same
this.
thing. December 17th, 2021. And then they break for the winter. And then Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes through in March
So-
of 2022.
I have a question because of
Break for
how
the
they've
winter.
released all of these series on Disney Plus. Are we to anticipate that these movies are also going to be on Disney Plus, or are they strictly in the theater?
I would assume strictly in the. I would assume that Widow might be a simultaneous release, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think beyond Widow that you're gonna get I don't think that you're gonna get simul releases on both.
Oh,
there's
Jeremy, if that was right, that would be awesome. But it is never right. I
because-
am wrong so often.
Because there's been talk of Widow going straight to Disney Plus, like some of the other
Yeah.
Disney movies did,
Yeah.
whatever. But really, I think the only people who have successfully done that really has been HBO Max.
This is true.
with
Well,
Snyder
and part of
Cut and
that, I think, is
Kong and
part of that
yeah.
is because I think of how Disney does that. Like, you can watch it now if you want to pay $30,
yeah,
or you just wait a couple of weeks and then you can watch it.
yeah.
Because we haven't watched the new whatever the new dragon movie is.
Mulan?
I don't even. No, not Milan.
Godzilla versus King Kong.
It's the one without
is
the
it?
dragon.
Wait, Dragon. What are you talking about?
There's
What? What?
something called The Last Dragon. I can't think of the first part of it, but it's
Is
on
it a-
Disney Plus. It's an animated show.
Animated.
yeah,
Yeah.
something in the Last Dragon.
Yeah.
I saw it. Yeah, I
And-
saw it at like Best Buy to buy like a physical disc.
Right. And so they released it straight to Disney Plus, but you can only watch it when it happened with Premiere Access. Which I
Yeah.
get that you get to keep it, but still, it's just kind of one of those things that it's like, man, that kind of
Yeah.
stinks. I'm already paying you this much money. Now I got to pay you more. Like,
Yeah, just to keep
So-
it. So
I mean,
In-
some of those
instead of-
movies, if they're
yeah.
good enough, I really don't mind throwing a little bit more at it. Raya and the Last Dragon, right?
that's it. Yep.
It
That's
looks really good. I'm really interested. I don't know.
It cracks me up
are
because
you $30 interested?
Yes, that's the question.
it cracks me up because Harper will watch a lot of stuff on YouTube about like that movie. She knows things that have happened in the movie and she's not even seen it. And I'm like, where?
how the internet
are you?
works.
How are you my child right now? Like, you're supposed to avoid spoilers.
You need to teach her about #spoilers.
Man, I've tried to teach her about everything and she just doesn't listen.
But we will get the Loki TV show in June, so that will be
Yes.
exciting.
Which looks awesome, by the way.
Yep.
And I'm interested if
does.
Hannah is right because Kev, I don't know if you were here. Hannah brought up an interesting point about the lady that was in Captain America: Winter Soldier. That's kind of Ellen. Wasn't that her name in Seinfeld?
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah.
no! Oh my goodness!
The contest.
Anyway, that lady.
People are shouting at us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that-
Elaine.
Elaine. I didn't watch Seinfeld, so I don't know. But either way, Hannah was proposing that the reason she was kind of like this mysterious character is because we didn't get introduced to her ahead of time, like we potentially would have in Black Widow if it had
Yeah,
been
we were
released on
talking.
schedule.
Yeah, we had talked about
So,
how it was Black Widow. We were
Yeah,
supposed
so
to
I'm
meet her the
curious if
first time.
she is right in that, then man, that they just like totally threaded the needle on. Like it's going to be amazing.
Yeah,
And the
we're
big
supposed.
bad
We're
It's going to
supposed.
be Kramer.
Yes, he's
Go
just
ahead.
going to come into the room. Kramer, and then the whole time it's not Kramer, it's Newman the whole time.
No.
The Yeah, the article I think that we're talking about, there's an article that came out that basically said that we were supposed to meet her for the first time in Black Widow,
Mhm.
so she wouldn't be this this other character. And I don't know how big of a role she has in Widow, or if that's even true. And so we'll know in a couple of months and see. But yeah, I'll be curious, like if that character like shows up there, and then maybe shows up in Loki, and might be sort of a puppet master, as it were.
She's a watcher.
Yeah,
She's the alternate to the Nick Fury of the first
Yep.
phase,
Yep.
bringing
Yeah.
together all the villains.
Very well could be.
Yes.
That's a great. It would be awesome if they did that, and only because you've always had that character that's kind of behind the scenes in every aspect of things, and you kind of. I don't know that you need it moving forward, but we're accustomed to it, and I think it helps tell the story.
That's probably one of Marvel's only missteps. Was there's a dog behind you?
Yeah.
One of Marvel's only
I don't know the
missteps
dog.
is in Iron Man 3 with the Mandarin. Like that's the Mandarin was
Oh,
supposed to
man.
be this person behind the scenes and all this other stuff. And
Turned out just to be a hippie that was drugged.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Like that's one of their only missteps in that respect. But I mean,
that movie though, that had me hooked
Mhm.
until the end when I found out like, oh, he's just drugged. Like, I was like, oh, okay, that was really lame.
yeah, I don't know. It's one of those that I'm gonna go, but like one of these days when I'm really feeling it, just like I'm gonna see if something actually holds up or not. I'm gonna watch Thor: Dark World and I'm gonna watch Iron Man 3, and
Yeah.
we're gonna see what happens.
And
did you also,
what are you looking for in that situation?
some sort of validation that the movies aren't as awful as I remember them to be?
I did not like Dark World at all.
I don't either. I didn't. I've been clear about my feelings about Dark World, but I did like the Shield tie-in. I thought that was cool. The Agents of Shield tie-in back in the day. I
Mhm.
thought that was fun. But I don't know. Did you also notice on this trailer that they did that the new Captain Marvel title is the Marvels plural?
Which I
Yeah.
love because one of the characters that Harper loves is Miss Marvel, which she's an Inhuman, and it's just I don't know, it's very cool.
Hold on, isn't Miss Marvel getting something of their own, or is that
I thought
in the Avengers video game? I don't remember.
no, I thought she was getting her own thing, but
Yeah.
it seems that they're going to tie it in at least partially to
Well,
Captain Marvel.
they were talking about how that's how they're going to tie WandaVision in. Is you're
Right,
going to
because
see
is it Photon? Is that her name?
you're going to see Photon in that. So
Which again, amazing job for Marvel.
yeah. Hannah wonders if Dark World will seem better after the new Thor with Jane taking up the mantle.
I don't
Maybe
know.
it'll be a tie-in or some explanation. Here's my problem with like any Thor after Dark World is they are so funny. Like it's just like you have like that Thor, and it's just like it just seems like Thor 1 was kind of fish out of water funny, and you had Kat Dennings. Like, I mean, at that point,
That's what I was going to say. Kat Dennings is the reason to watch the second one. Just put together her little scenes,
yeah.
and you've got a good movie.
So yeah, I'll be curious. It's one of those things. Like sometimes, like there's just movies that I didn't enjoy at the time, but they're part of a bigger story, a bigger thing, and so like they're in my collection at some point, and I will go back and be like, well, let's see about, let's go watch them again, and watch them in some different context. Like Matrix 2 and 3 aren't as strong unless you watch them all together.
That's
Like
true.
is one story.
Not to mention, you probably wouldn't understand what the heck was going on. But
it's true. I mean, there is enough people who are just like Matrix 2 and 3 are garbage, but like you watch that as one arc, like in like a short period of time, and those movies hold up a lot better.
Well, and that's an example of a movie that was split up so much just due to the way things were, and it really is it's kind of like, I can't even describe it. Like, it's a solid 3 movies that you watch if you watch them in entirety, back to back or day or two apart. Like you're saying, because of the story that it tells, it doesn't feel so removed. Like Blade and Blade 2 are so far removed from each other, it just doesn't even make sense. Blade Trinity definitely doesn't make sense.
I was gonna say, how are you feeling about Blade Trinity? Because there is a third one in there.
Yeah,
like
well, Jessica
where
Biel.
where you meet Deadpool
okay
for the first time.
Do what?
So where you meet Deadpool for the first time, because Hannibal King is Deadpool.
I got to think that Ryan Reynolds is probably the only reason that movie is even decent. Jessica Biel's a plus, but in terms of character, like, oh my gosh, that was Deadpool before I even knew about Deadpool.
Oh yeah, I mean that was, you had to think about.
And Triple H.
You go. I mean, you go and you look at it, and you're like, that is Ryan Reynolds playing Deadpool.
Yeah.
Like now, like then.
Yeah. And that's Parker Posey playing Parker Posey.
Yes. Yeah.
And all I can see from her is Dazed and Confused. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes I just feel like watching, like, I like Blade 2 as a standalone movie. Like Blade 1, like they released it on 4K, so I went back to it and watched it. And it holds up kind of. Not as, like, it was not the just like brain exploding experience it was when I first watched it. I mean, think about it. Blade is really the first Marvel movie.
Yeah.
And going to the theater, I knew nothing about it. I'm just like, oh, Marvel, that's cool. Whatever. Like, and then you go watch it, and it's Wesley Snipes, like, in his prime, and he's got a sword, and he's kicking things and shooting things and stabbing things. Like, it's peak 90s action.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you watch it now, and you're like, like, okay. I mean, that movie has its issues, but at this point, like, every movie at some point has its issues. Just like, we just said, so the Warren opened yesterday.
I drove past it this morning, and I was wondering if it was even open.
They opened yesterday, and so I made time yesterday. I was like, all right, I'm going to go see Mortal Kombat because it's going to cost me $1.50. And so I went and saw it. Like, I mean, Mortal Kombat's about a tournament. Give me a tournament, dude.
Yeah, I think that's what I didn't really like about that movie, is they didn't even get to like, it was all of the fan service in different spots, but it wasn't in the manner that it should have been. Yeah,
it was like, it wasn't. I mean, I thought some of the visuals were really cool,
for sure.
Like what they did with Sub-Zero and Scorpion and stuff like that was awesome. But the thing is, like, you could have replaced those characters with any, like, sort of supernatural action type characters, and it would be that movie without, like, Mortal Kombat. Like, you really could replace some of the, like, and tell the exact same story. The guy who does this, who needs to find his power, who needs to whatever. Like, I'm just glad the theater was open. Like, that's what I'm most excited about. I don't even know what I'm going to go see tonight, but I'm going to go see something. I don't care. I've missed the theater in a big way. There's a new Jason Statham movie out, which means he's going to run around and kick things. So, like, I'm cool. Like, that's what I want to do.
I've been seeing trailers for that. It looks so good.
It does. And Regal is doing Fast Fridays, free tickets. They're doing all the Fast and Furious movies.
What?
This weekend is Tokyo Drift. I don't know how you get tickets, but it's there.
Well, so they just bypassed the first one, or what? Are they not doing them in order?
No, they did, but, like, some Regal theaters opened before ours did.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So this one, they had 2 Fast and Furious was supposed to be yesterday. I think Tokyo Drift is this one, but in that I did see the newish trailer, I guess, for Suicide Squad. Which, I mean, I don't quite know. Like, it's James Gunn, so there's a certain amount of belief that it's going to be what it is, but it's also like, is this going to be the DC Guardians of the Galaxy, or did he, like, shoot the moon on this one a bit. I don't know. I was reading an article that Dave Bautista was supposed to be in Suicide Squad. That James Gunn had wrote him a small part, but he chose to do Army of the Dead, the Netflix series, basically because one, he wanted to work with Zack Snyder, and two, quote, they paid me a lot more money. So,
Hey, can't blame him there.
yeah, so I thought that was pretty interesting. But the new Suicide Squad trailer does look interesting. Like you see a lot of different, you got Polka Dot Man. Like, how do you not like, there's a lot of, it's going to be one of those things, but I don't know. I don't know about it. Like I just had, it doesn't. And maybe this is a good thing. Like it doesn't really like I don't get the DC like I got a DC feel from the first Suicide Squad like trailer and stuff. This one I don't. Like this one I get more of a Guardians type thing, and I just don't know if it works or not.
I was gonna say I wonder if it comes down to like with the Justice Leagues, you had the the kind of pseudo funny Joss Whedon version, and you've got the super dark Zack Snyder version, and everybody kind of likes feels like the DC version is the darker one.
Yeah. I think but I also think there's a place for humor in DC that is dark humor. Like just
like
dark
Harley
humor.
Because everything was dark
Harley's super dark.
It's true.
And some of the other things. So like, John Cena plays the Peacemaker, and there's a scene in the trailer where they're talking about, she's like, I thought that you wanted peace. And he's like, I treasure peace above all else. I'll kill as many men, women, and children as I need to make it happen.
But I mean that's DC though.
It's very much
perfect.
DC.
So if there's something that James Gunn can do, it's comedy while having other things. So we'll see. Yeah. And maybe it's good that it doesn't feel like a DC movie off the bat.
It's possible.
I mean, it might help them get more viewers and all that stuff.
I mean, there's a lot you can do to frame a trailer, to make it look like it's going to be one thing, and then it turns out to be something slightly
completely different.
Mortal Kombat's an example of that.
Mortal Kombat's a great example of that. It's that Mortal Kombat is almost the epitome of a trailer movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, I saw a thing, and I agree with it. It's just it was funny. It was the guy that's Scorpion's descendant.
Uh-huh.
And it's like most useless character in a movie. He does nothing but get beat up like the entirety of the movie. And then to be his, the whole time I kept thinking like he's going to turn into Scorpion.
Yeah.
No.
Spoilers, by the way.
It's on HBO Max. You can watch it.
We need a spoiler
for a
tag.
While. We need a Scorpion spoiler tag. It says spoilers going across with his chain knife thing, whatever you
then
call it.
I saw a thing that said like,
"Don't get over here."
It was a picture of Liu Kang and Liu Kang, and it's like, you mean to tell me this dude is gonna get beat up by that dude? No. I don't know who this soft guy is, but that ain't Liu Kang.
Yeah, it was a different
take on a lot of characters too, though.
It really was, but I also have a very special place in my heart for the first one.
Absolutely.
The one that came out in '95. I have an incredible that's and also too also with Blade, because when I first bought a DVD player, there were 3 DVDs that I bought. I bought Blade, I bought Mortal Kombat, and I bought Replacement Killers. And Replacement Killers and Mortal Kombat still have a place, a very special place for me. Blade, not so much.
I think for me, the reason Mortal Kombat is the original Mortal Kombat is such a good movie to keep around, and one that kind of along what you're saying with why I like it so much is because it was the first video game that I really got hooked on with friends. I went out and I found the codes to unlock this character or that character,
the blood code.
Yeah. Unlock Smoke and unlock all the others, so it was the first game that I really got attached to. And so for me, it's
but
that
not for
movie,
the story.
No. And I don't even play it now, but but when you had an SNES and that was what you could play, like that's what you did. And so for me, it was one of those things that movie was kind of like seeing it all come to life was awesome.
I think Mortal Kombat's a really interesting series because it started out with these characters, they captured the actors in the motions to make the sprites, and it's actually gotten more cartoony as the thing's gone on. Most series, they started out with little pixelated plumbers, and now they're, full-fledged 3D characters. But with Mortal Kombat, I think they've actually gotten flatter and more, I don't know, it's all very cel-shaded and animated now, as opposed to kind of how it started out. And I think it's kind of a different challenge trying to convert those back to real people again.
Sure.
Sonya's a pretty good. The Sonya in the movies is like, she looks like Sonya Blade. Like she's a really good
for sure.
Sonya. And a lot of it, like they have the visuals. But speaking of things in video games, while we're talking about video games, new Destiny season starts on Tuesday. Season of the Splicer. We're not going to talk about much of that except for one small thing. I give you the Baby Fallen. Or as they are they are affectionately referred to as the Smolin, or the Smolin, or the Smolinskis, any number of things. The internet went crazy with Baby Fallen, so much so that Bungie is creating a product that you can buy. Here is the picture of the Smolin.
That was wonderful.
Oh yes. Oh,
looks like a glowworm.
It really does. Like,
So you gave us your first 3 DVDs. I feel like that's one of those online, personality tests. We can tell you everything about yourself based on the first three DVDs you owned.
And they are all violent. What does that tell you?
Oh no.
That you married an axe murderer.
If anyone's going to get away with it, it's going to be her. But
I don't even know if I could remember the first 3 DVDs I bought.
I know, right?
Like I have a very clear, crisp memory of, I could walk into Best Buy right now and stand in the place where the shelf was.
That really doesn't shock me knowing you, but I cannot do that.
It's because that's like
Fast and Furious might have been one of them. I don't know.
Movies have been my thing for so long.
Sure.
Like that's the start of a lifelong obsession / blockbuster video sized collection
oh man. Yeah.
Of stuff. So that's where it started. Like,
well, and I didn't have a DVD player for many years. My dad, we just didn't have one. And then probably about the time that I was, I don't know, 18 or 19, he bought a surround sound system with a DVD player. And that's about the time that we bought them. So I couldn't tell you what they were,
My first DVD player was actually in my computer.
Well, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how else were you supposed to play it?
Yeah, before you got a desktop player.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but now
I remember when writing CDs was like the thing.
Oh yeah, I never did that, ever.
Did it all the time,
ever.
I didn't say I put music on them.
ever.
Gonna make that clear.
Napster, Kazaa, LimeWire. Yeah. We're dating ourselves, gentlemen.
A little bit. Let's see what else is going on in the DC world. 2 original cast members are leaving the series. Tom Cavanaugh and Carlos Valdez are leaving. So Harrison Wells and whatever / Eobard Thawne / Wells times however many / Reverse Flash times. His thing was in one of the panels at Comic-Con or something like that. Like his deal, he was never supposed to be on that show that long. And they kept wanting to bring him back, but he's like, but I've got to be, he's like, as an actor, he wants to be something, he wants to reinvent himself and things like that. And so that's where they came up with the Council of Wells. And so he could basically play a different version of Wells every season. And like, there's some like episodes in some of the later seasons where there's like 4 or 5 Wells on screen at any given time. There's the French guy, there's this, there's whatever, like there's a bunch of different ones. So he is done. They said, don't don't think that he might not come back at some point because this is a comic book. Carlos Valdez, also who's been around since the very beginning, he is also leaving. Like I think he left during part of the end of season 6, and I think this is the official announcement. Like he will come back, but he played Vibe and Cisco Ramon, all of that stuff. So it wouldn't surprise me if they come back. They have signed Grant Gustin for at least another season. But I mean, Flash is on season 8. So, I mean, I don't know how many more seasons of Flash we're going to get, or it will be reinvented with a different Flash. There's several different Flashes that are there, and maybe they look at something like that, like Bart Allen or something like that, because there's some pictures that got released of the Bart Allen costume, and so they're that's showing up there. I'm admittedly pretty far behind on Flash right now, but
same. Yeah.
So yeah, it's
I'm behind on just about anything except for the stuff that's come out on Disney Plus here recently.
Yeah,
because Harper will watch it with me. Everything else behind.
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks.
Yes, another great thing so far. There was an episode this week, right?
Think so, yeah.
Okay, we're up to date except for this week, so
Yeah.
it's good. Our neighbor down the street that she plays with is also watching it. He's in maybe 5th, 6th grade maybe. And he'll come out with a hockey stick and rollerblades, and he's just like, he's doing weaves now. I mean, he's doing the things, right?
He needs to he needs to.
The last episode you watched, was it The Spirit of the Ducks?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So that sort of thing, I am disappointed to say these people will not understand, and we really need to educate the youth of America on what happened back in the 90s.
Yes, I agree, because they have no clue unless they've watched them, because they have their parents that watched them. But
they actually brought in characters, and I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. But he'll get to going on his rollerblades and stick, hitting a ball or whatever, and I'll go quack, 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 quack. And he'll go inside real quick and change out of them. It's hilarious. But yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
man.
Yeah, I think if I don't know if he can ice skate, but he can rollerblade.
There's a difference. Mainly, how you stop, but important things. But yeah,
you just run into the wall like the guy in the Mighty Ducks. It's fine.
Sometimes that's what you got to do. Also,
I saw that movie.
Also happening on streaming services, Hulu is basically greenlit a 10-episode spinoff show, How I Met Your Father, starring Hilary Duff. So
have you watched the original show?
How I Met Your Mother?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's one of my all-time.
I have not.
So
you've got to watch it.
You need to watch it.
But what is your take? Do you think this is going to? Because I read that article and sounds like it'll be good, but I don't know anything about the show.
The original creators are involved as producers and stuff, but they're not running the show, which is interesting. It really depends on how far they try and lean into the show. I don't think you can basically reproduce that magic just because of the people you had at that time. Sure. Like Jason Segel before he is Jason Segel, really. That's why he's not in a bunch of later episodes in the later seasons, is because he did Forgetting Sarah Marshall and stuff like that. I mean, Neil Patrick Harris, you go from not really seeing Neil Patrick Harris do much to all of a sudden playing Barney in this, arguably might be more iconic than Doogie Howser.
Yeah.
So it really depends on how far they lean into the new show. Now, Hilary Duff has been quoted as saying that. Let me find that quote. Where did she say? She says, "I don't want to give it all away, and the script is definitely being changed a little bit, but it does tie in, and hopefully we'll have some fun guest appearances from the original cast." So the prevailing theory is, she is one of the kids. Here's the thing: Barney had a daughter. Mm-hmm. You could do that, or she is a friend of Ted's kids that he's telling the story to, and that's how she gets line. That's how they basically loop her into that. because you could get the son and the father, or whatever. For all we know, like the father is Ted's son. Like you could, I mean, they could go that far with it if they really wanted to. It's 10 episodes. I'll give it a shot. We'll see. Because I really enjoy the series itself. You like, not that you have a ton of time in the world, but for 20 minutes a pop, and granted, there's a lot of episodes.
A lot of episodes.
It's worth watching just because it's really funny.
It is really good. I think my confusion is I'm still trying to figure out what her role is going to be. Because in the original, technically, How I Met Your Mother was about Ted, but the narrator was Bob Saget. And so if she is telling her son how she met, his father, the question is going to be like, is she the narrator? Is she actually going to be one of the people in the show? Is she going to be both? And then from there, like you said, most of the other characters are really what carried it. I mean, for me, Barney and Robin and that relationship between Jason Segel and Allison Hannigan. I mean, really, Ted is the least interesting character on the show.
He really
as long as they get all those friends together, as long as they get the friends right, then they could potentially really hook you. But I think we don't know anything.
Well, the only other thing we know is that it's her. She's the lead, and there's 3 male friends. And so some people are thinking about, is it going to be one of those, which one of these 3 friends is the father? That type of thing.
I don't care about that.
I don't either. So yeah, I mean, there's a very, they weave so much through that story, through various people, like with Ted, you got some with Ted, and then with Robin, and like you said, and dealing with Marshall and Lily and stuff like that. Like they addressed real things through those lenses, which was really cool. I mean, that's kind of lightning in a bottle. I don't know if you catch it again. Like they're going to try, but we'll see.
I mean, it's one of those things that when you have a sequel, it sounds like it's always that risk of it not working out or a spinoff, So,
I mean, because it's a Hulu series, I find that very interesting. But I used to think like, oh, it's not going to be very good because of, but now at anything, like I watch streaming series. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched a show on like network that premiered on network television. Like it's all been on streaming. Something else about catching lightning in a bottle that I'm not quite sure of, man. I am not sure about this season 4 trailer for Stranger Things.
Man, I'm about it. I'm ready.
I mean, I'm excited about watching it, but like I got a very big prequel vibe out of it, and I've been hurt by that before.
I think I agree with you on what you're saying about the prequel side of it, because it's all set from season 1. Like everything we saw was at least a flashback to season 1, and you hear the Demogorgon in the trailer. So for me, there definitely has to be some of that. But at the end of season 3, she learns that there were more of them. So perhaps we're gonna this is the backstory to them as well.
Because we've seen other ones before. Like we've seen other empowered children before.
Right. So maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm completely excited about it, and I think part of that is just because it's been so long since the last season. I think they struggled a little bit in season 3 to really tell a kind of a newer story, because at some point, like how many more bad guys can you have, or how many more bad demons from something else can you have? It's the same issue that the show 100 is running into, where it's like, okay, so the big bad was oxygen in space. And then now it's the big bad is living on the Earth with radiation. And now the big bad is the bombs went off. And now we're in this other society that we're having to, and it was just like the big bad has kind of gotten away from a real thing. Now they're in some sort of a time warp thing going on. I haven't finished watching the current season on Netflix, but at some point you just stretch it too thin.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I'm sorry, Matt's having computer issues.
Turn it off.
I think you're right. I think
turn it back on, Matt. Reboot.
There's a point where you've got you're stretching your audience too much. You're saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
hey, everything's gone wrong," but it's every little thing, and it really starts to wear on people, and that is definitely a concern.
Yeah, it'll be cool how they tie it in. Well, it could be cool how they tie it in. Just with regard to what happened at the end of season 3 to what's going on now. I mean, that will be cool. And then surely there's got to be some other aspect of an empowered child from the lab. And obviously there's something with the Demogorgon. Otherwise, why would they put it there?
I mean, we never really got a whole lot of specific answers, I don't think. And I don't know if they're... You have our votes, sir.
I already have enough people that don't like me. I don't need to do that.
But I think that you're right. The whole show really relies on giving you a really vague premise and then really vague answers. And then from there, you seem to get more and more questions. And I think they can only dodge the initial answers for so long before we start to say, wait a minute. What's going on?
Well, and we never really understood what happened to the Demogorgon after the season 1.
Yeah.
So it's totally possible that it never really was destroyed. It just was moved.
Yeah.
And we know that, there's the Russian connection and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It'll be what it is. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna watch the heck out of it. Like it's gonna be. It's going to be awesome. I hope that they do the full drop. Like they don't do like an episode a week or anything like that. That would be redonkulous.
No, I think Netflix's pattern is to drop it all at once.
Yeah. Hopefully.
I do like the Disney aspect of things because it kind of stretches it out, makes it a little more enjoyable experience. And I understand why they're doing it because Disney really is more about family and like bringing the family together. That's why they have that shared experience that you can watch it together, even if you're not together.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. But from a Netflix perspective, like their bread and butter is dropping it all at once and letting you just crave it forever. So, I don't know why they would.
But that's the thing. It's you look at the social mentions and the media hypes, which is like, if you look at how often WandaVision was in the news while WandaVision was on, like 8 weeks straight. There was always something about WandaVision, talking about WandaVision. Dropping it all at once, like you get a big hit for probably a week, and then that's it. And so it's a very different way to do things. But here's the thing: all the streaming services are making bajillions of dollars. At this point, it may not really matter how much they're in the media.
And Stranger Things has actors that are in other things at this point. So potentially you do get the carryover from notoriety just because of that. Whereas WandaVision, for example, while both of those actors have been in other things, it was a different story that nobody knew. And season 1 Stranger Things, if they were following the Disney model now, I could totally see it being a weekly release and then carrying that through. But because all the other seasons haven't, I don't know.
Well, Stranger Things, and they've talked about this. Stranger Things became a thing all its own. They didn't expect it. It was wholly unexpected.
Because it's awesome.
It was awesome. It was great. Yeah, one of the kids from there is he's in the new Ghostbusters. That trailer was on.
Yep.
The front of Mortal Kombat. I don't know.
Was that Afterlife? Is that Ghostbusters
Afterlife? Yeah. I don't know how I quite feel about it. I'm here thinking, it's got Paul Rudd in it, so you really can't go too wrong with Paul Rudd. But it's
got Ant-Man.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that dude is 98 years old and he looks like he's 40. So he will outlive us all. Speaking of vague answers, the polar opposite of a vague answer is if you're ever playing on Jeopardy, you better not give a vague answer. They're saying they will have an actual selection of a host this summer. So they will start shooting everything. Now they've had a bunch of guest hosts out there, and I didn't realize this. This just absolutely baffles me. I'm all aboard Aaron Rodgers doing it because he's like, you know, he was a huge Jeopardy fan, and apparently that like there's a lot of talk about how he prepared for it, like that he was so over prepared that like the producers are like, wow, like we didn't expect this from him. Anderson Cooper is an interesting choice, also. I think you know he guest hosted as well, but Dr. Oz, what in the were they thinking? Like, I have
Oh
a
my
new button.
goodness.
Like to me,
Most appropriate use of that button ever.
to
Right.
me, given the circumstances around there as a guest host, let's put a crackpot doctor on there.
It's the
Like,
worst.
I mean, that's crazy. Now, the next guest host that I am wholly on board with, LeVar Burton is guest hosting.
Yes.
He's got to be the guy.
Gotta
Like,
be.
there has been so many petitions and so many other things like to have him guest host. Like, he's got the momentum. And to me, he seems like he would be the perfect host for Jeopardy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's face it, the dude reads to you in the morning and he can teach you trivia at night. Like, this is the dream right here.
Yes.
So yes, they said it will all come down to testing with the top executives at Sony, which I'm like, great. But I mean, these top executives, you know, they said, let's get Dr. Oz in there. Yeah, those executives, please. LeVar Burton for Jeopardy host.
For
LeVar
sure.
Burton.
His daughter has
Absolutely.
been on a lot of the Critical Role stuff lately.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm pretty behind on it, but just because their episodes are so long. But for a while, she was playing a kind of a weekly character. So
Cool.
and I think she was even in the one shot that they did for Diablo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I may be wrong about that, and I might be mixing it up in my head. But anyway,
So yeah,
Anyway.
so you'll see LeVar Burton guest host in July after an online petition garnered support from celebrities and fans alike. So it's gotta be LeVar Burton. If it's not, like, I would probably be okay with Anderson Cooper just because he's, you know, very professional. He does whatever. I just feel like LeVar Burton's the play there.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
so
could be.
absolutely.
I'd start watching it again.
Oh, I totally watch it for, you know, probably a week or so just to
Yeah.
see. So I'm just going to read as we close up for the week here. I'm just going to read this title. This is from a few days ago. I think Hannah put this in.
I was gonna say, I hope it's the one I'm thinking of.
Pokemon scalpers are forcing stores to lock down Cinnamon Toast Crunch and cereal. Because the last time we met, we talked about cereal. We're not yet done. First, they came for your toilet paper. Then they came for your Clorox wipes. Now they're coming for your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Because Pokemon is going crazy in terms of cards and reselling and stuff like that. Literally, they are putting the beepers that you put normally on like electronics around there. So one, they don't get stolen, and two, you can't get into them to steal the packs out of the boxes because this is what's happening.
People are terrible.
Promo packs are coming in select boxes of Trix, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, Cocoa Puffs, and Golden Grams. The promo collection contains 14 different cards with a holographic Pikachu piece in each box. Plus, stores like Walmart got certain exclusive cards, like a Galarian Ponyta. So, yeah. People.
I think it's ridiculous that we've gotten to this place. Can I just say that?
Hey, here's the thing. Like, but the funny thing is, I don't know that you get here without COVID, because
True.
what COVID did to the collecting card market, it was only a matter of time before it reached there. And man, and when it hit Pokemon, it really hit Pokemon.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just insane. And like anything else, you know, it's a, you know, it will flame out at some point. It may be years from now, and there's going to be a lot of people making a lot of money on it. It's just like Dogecoin. And so I'm just waiting for Elon to host tonight, then I'm out. So I'm already way up. So I'm excited about this. But you look at, like, you know, just like anything, it's just, you never know what's going to be hot. And if you happen to get there at the right time, you know, you
But
can
still.
steal some cereal boxes, I guess. Like,
I mean, the best picture that I've seen this year is the Lucky Charms with the electronic security thing around it for 3 cards inside.
hang on, I'm gonna see if I can. Let me see if I can pull this picture real quick.
Oh man.
And I'm gonna put this in the.
I always hated, having to grab whatever it is that I want to buy, taking it up to the register, and then watching the poor, checkout try to get the security
Get the
thing
electronic
off of whatever
tag off.
really fancy electric tag I've got. Yeah. And
Yeah.
then it turns out now I have to do it for Lucky Charms.
There you go.
There you go. Oh man.
Lucky
So funny.
Charms.
It's so
Right there.
like it's just ridiculous to me.
The
Yeah.
treasure at the end of the rainbow was 3 measly Pokemon cards.
Yep, including a foil Pikachu. Like,
Oh good.
Just think if you're that kid and you're like, what in the heck? Where are my cards?
yeah.
I mean, that had to be where it started.
Mom, what about the meatloaf?
Here's what needs. Here's the thing. If you're going to do this, this is what needs to be done, which is, if you want to buy all the cereal, buy all the damn cereal. Like, okay,
Yeah.
it's just like you can't buy like sports cards right now, but like Target put a limit on. If you're only there for the cards, don't steal the cards, because here's the thing: your cost of entry here is like what, $5, like maybe. Buy the cereal, take the cards out, because I don't think the cards are in the cereal. I think they're outside. If that is the case, perhaps. If not, I don't know. I was gonna say, but if that is the case, do that. Then go donate the cereal to like a food place or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
do some good with it, as opposed to ripping open a Lucky Charms. And okay, I just realized the fact that the security guy is over the leprechaun's face, and I find that very funny. Like,
But they're always after his lucky.
Let's go back to the
You gotta
tape,
see him
like-
coming. He can't see him coming.
it's true.
Uh,
So I mean, it's just I mean, here's the thing: is somebody who bought way too much Rockstar and stuff like that for Destiny codes and things like that. Like
Same.
I can appreciate it on some level, but I didn't like pop tabs and leave the
Yeah.
drink behind. Like, I bought them, and then most of it went down the drain. But damn it, I got my
Well, the
experience.
The thing was, you didn't even have to do that. You could just look at the code.
Yeah.
You didn't have to open it up.
No, yeah, you could just turn it and flip the
Yeah.
tab and get the code off.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things. Like, this is somebody like General Mills jumping on a fad and maybe not quite understanding the I don't want to say the word. I don't want to say the implications of their choices.
That is a great way to say that, I think.
Yeah. So
I mean, how could you have predicted?
serial
True,
theft being
true,
the top
but
thing. Like,
if you
the
pay any attention to what's going on in the world,
It's true.
it doesn't take much.
the only thing that would be better than the secured Lucky Charms would be like grainy, like security cam footage of somebody having a box, like a cart full of these, and just running out the door and
Oh, man.
potentially knocking somebody down out like along the way.
What if they tie
Like-
it in on a Flash movie where they've got him on security camera doing that?
Oh, just stealing all the cards.
I mean,
So-
surely somebody in marketing said, "Hey, we're having a meeting with people making Pokemon cards. There's got to be some sort of market for this. Let's just do a quick Google search and say, hey, do people like Pokemon cards?" And then they'd see all these like streams of people opening up boxes and saying,
Yeah.
"I got $10,000 worth of cards here."
I mean, and you have to wonder too, like, is this something that General Mills just like landed upon accidentally? Like, did they have a licensing agreement with Pokemon? And we're like, oh, so like we have the rights to do this or whatever. Oh yeah. Like, okay, we just stumbled across this. People are gonna steal our cereal, but you know what? That's the store's problem. Like, I mean, really?
Yeah.
That's what the world is coming to. Cereal theft. I cannot condone it. There's a lot of things that I'll let slide. Cereal theft is not among them. So, hey, but I didn't
I
realize
support
Lucky
your-
Charms are gluten free.
I support your anti-cereal theft.
They still taste
stance.
terrible, though.
Yeah. So if I ever run for office, that's my platform. Anti-serial theft. There's a lot of problems in this world.
I think Nick's
But
the one running for office.
That's true. Nick is running for office technically.
I am
You can
not.
be vice.
Yeah. So
No, thank you.
you just have to get up on stage and just be like, "There's a lot of things wrong in this world, but somebody
Charms.
stole my Lucky Charms.
Right.
I will not stand for this." That's pretty
Lucky
awesome.
Charms in every bowl.
And a Pokemon card in every kid's hand. Nick for president. Oh boy, it's exciting. Anything else
I'm
going
gonna have
on?
to work on those posters this week.
Please don't. Now, better yet, please do. Why
I was gonna
not?
say what we really need, like you need like that Obama Believe poster, and it just has Nick's face, and it's just like "Save our cereal" or something
Okay.
like a
Okay.
"Save the Whales" poster, and it's just
Yeah,
instead of a whale
funny.
in the background, it's just like all this different cereal. Like this is what we need.
We'll get to work on it.
Oh boy. Anything else going on? Anything else you guys want to talk about before we sign off for the day?
No.
I have been getting absolutely nothing done because I got the new Pokemon Snap, and it's just I don't even know how the hours have disappeared on me, but they have. So
That's always a good that's a sign of a good game though. Like I remember like there's two things that Facebook Memories does. Most of it is reminds me of how much of an idiot I was 10 years ago.
yeah.
No
Um,
doubt.
And like the one of my favorite things that I'll do is like, that's a dumb post from 8 years ago. Delete. Like I'm slowly wiping my history out like a day at a time. But it's also like you see posts like the first time I played Gears of War, I was like, and it's 1
Oh,
in the
man.
morning.
Yeah.
Like, so there are some like callbacks to some nostalgic type, like cool things that happened in life, but most of it is just like my post from like 10 years ago today was like, I'm sick as a dog. Nobody
Oh.
cares. Like, so
We are glad you're feeling better, sir.
it took 10 years,
10
but I'm
years.
feeling all right.
I
So,
think Gears of War had the really strained kind of I don't know, everything is going from one really crazy battle to the next. And it was easy to get caught up in it because it just doesn't let up. Whereas Pokemon Snap is more, you're so relaxed and there's just no pressure on any moment of the entire game. It's the most calming thing I've played in the last, well, since 2000 when the first one came out.
yeah.
2000, 99, somewhere around there. It's very relaxing. It's very nice. That's all I'm saying.
I need to find a good relaxing video game. Jurassic World does that for me for a while.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and then my dinosaurs got loose and people died. And, I mean,
Good.
I mean, that's what. Here's the thing. That's what they want to happen. Let's.
They
be
signed
real.
waivers.
Exactly. Right.
True.
You wouldn't let them in the park.
True.
It's true.
True. You're not under any risk of being sued.
It's very true.
Even if you drive the Jeep over them, they just dive out of the way.
yeah, you're not wrong. Stuff is that has been attempted.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I gotta find something new there. Cool.
Oh, you should play that game Dwarf Romantic that I told you about.
Okay.
Showed you a little bit of that tile-based game. A lot of fun.
Oh, there we go.
Very relaxing.
I can handle that.
Yeah.
I can handle some tiles normally.
Church, you have to be here for us to talk about anything that you want us to talk about.
I think we need to talk more about the fact that he only has one sock on in that picture. It's a little confused, little concerning.
So, alrighty. Well, I guess that's it for this week. Episode 180. Cereal for everyone. Save our cereal.
Save our cereal.
Something like that. Yeah, it's crazy times we live in. Hey, there's somebody at my front door.
Hey.
Probably Amazon dropping off something I forgot I ordered 2 days ago. Such is life.
Mhm.
Such is life.
First world problems.
It is. All right, this has been episode 180. I'm Cav. That's Nick.
See you guys.
And Sam,
Bye.
Hannah's still evil.
Oh,
Not
yes.
evil? Question
Hannah's
mark?
not evil.
Question mark?
Exclamation point.
Got it. All right, see you guys.
All right,
Bye.
see ya.